Hello, my name is Hunter, the movie reviewing pony, because when it comes to cinema, humans cannot be trusted. And welcome to what will no doubt be a yearly event, the Headhunter Productions Film of the Year Award. Despite all the movies that came out last year, we only have 3 candidates for Film of the Year. These are the 3 films that managed to reach a 9.5 score or higher on my good or bad reviews. Everything was a 9.5 this year, so there are 3 nominees. First up in our nominees, we have The Lego Movie. You know, that movie about the overly expensive interlocking constructed brick system. Amazingly likable characters, the best animation we've seen all year, and an original story that we haven't seen in a long time. Not to mention a ton of voices behind it, like Morgan Freeman, Will Ferrell, and Liam Neeson. Not to mention breakout star Chris Pratt. And the flaws in this movie only stem from the fact that the animation is sometimes difficult to look at, and the fact that it had a pretty rushed opening. So with something like this, it's only natural that we put it on our selection for Movie of the Year. Candidate number 2 comes to us from Disney Studios with Big Hero 6. A pretty original story with a pretty original setting with some pretty flawed villain motives. But despite following the standard Disney kill-a-character formula, it actually ended up being a pretty damn good movie. Despite the fact that most of the main characters should have gotten a bit more screen time to consider them main characters, they were all likable. Not to mention there's plenty of eye candy in the movie. And much like the Lego Movie, the animation is downright fantastic. Not to mention great soundtrack, great character designs, and great advertising campaign. The fact that 80 years ago they were making cartoons about a mouse that wore pants is just mind-boggling. Almost crazy to think about, actually. So with a setup like that, it's kind of not okay for us to not put this on our nominees for Film of the Year. Candidate number 3 comes to us from Wingnut Pictures with The Hobbit Battle of the 5 Armies. An utterly epic conclusion to an utterly epic trilogy. Great characters, great effects, and great setting. Not to mention the fact that they managed to stretch out one book into 3 movies is kind of impressive. Although it is kind of greedy, it is kind of impressive. Another point in this movie's favor is that it's significantly shorter than the average Lord of the Rings or Hobbit film. Not to mention, all of the characters in this film have a perfect blend of expendable and invulnerable, so you don't know who's gonna die. Now, the flaws in this movie extend from the fact that it's on a much smaller scale, and we know that this company is capable of something on a much larger scale. Not to mention its lack of significant closure in the way Smaug is handled. But despite all of these flaws, it's still got our 9.5, and as a result, it is now nominated for our Film of the Year. All of these are utterly fantastic films, but unfortunately, we could only pick one that could be the true Film of the Year. And the winner is... The Lego Movie! The simple fact of the matter is that some of the best movies out there nowadays are actually kids' movies. Sure, Lego movies have been done in the past, but nothing on a scale such as this. This movie has fantastic characters, an original story, and the best animation I've seen in a long time. The video game tie-in for this was also pretty good, and let's not forget that you are never going to get Everything is Awesome out of your head anytime soon. The only people who I've seen who actually hate this movie are people who are ignorant and think that it's too much of a kids' movie because it has Legos in it. Well, if that were the case, then we wouldn't have given it Film of the Year. Personally, I can't recommend this movie enough. This movie not only revived my love for Legos, but it has me anxiously awaiting the sequel that they've already announced. 2017 can't come fast enough! Runner-up for Film of the Year is The Hobbit Battle of the Five Armies. Sorry about that, Wingnut, but the Lego movie was just a little bit better. Besides, it's still a win for Warner Brothers. To think, we originally had doubts about the Lego movie, but here it is at the top of our list. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I like it. If you still haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend that you get it now. But don't let me stop you from seeing our other two nominees. The Hobbit is still in theaters, and I'm pretty sure Big Hero 6 is still in theaters somewhere. In fact, overall, I think this was a pretty good year for movies. Well, except for that one. My name is Hunter, and this has been a fantastic year for movies.